Hi everybody and welcome back to What's for Dinner. I took a couple week break. I didn't even mean to, but it is very busy around here in October and I just wasn't cooking enough to really show you guys what we were having. We were kind of eating out here and there and then having some quick convenient stuff that you all probably make in your kitchen as well. So not really anything that I wanted to show as far as that goes. But today we're back, and so I'm gonna start off the video with this really delicious, kind of fall-inspired breakfast bake, but it also could just be a dessert. I think you guys are gonna really like that one. We loved it, it was delicious. And then I've just got some stuff that we had to eat. Some things were pretty quick and easy, convenient type meals when you're in a hurry. And then some was just using some things that I needed to use. So I'm bringing you guys along for all of it. Good morning, everyone. I am putting together this delicious breakfast bake. And it's gonna start with this bread. It's this maple streusel bread that I got at Aldi. James, I don't think ate any of this. I had a few slices out of it, and then I just put the rest in the freezer because I just knew we weren't getting through it very quick. So I think this is gonna be so perfect for this recipe though. So this is an overnight one that you can do in the refrigerator, but I'm just doing mine here first thing of the morning, and I'm gonna put it in the refrigerator and let it stay all day until time for dinner, and we're gonna have breakfast for dinner. So I'm gonna start with this bread, and then I have a little bit left in this loaf that I also threw in the freezer. So these together, I'm gonna get cubed up for this really amazing, I'm pretty sure it's gonna taste amazing, an overnight apple, cinnamon, and in this case, maple, because I'm using this instead of just plain bread, French toast bake. I think this is gonna be great. Okay, now we have 8 eggs here in the bowl, and I'm gonna add to that 2 cups of milk and a half cup of heavy cream. Let's get in the 2 cups of milk. Here's my half a cup of heavy whipping cream. And of course, I will have this recipe linked down below. I found this on Pinterest. All right, to this, now we're gonna add our sugars. Now for our sugars, I've got this little old-fashioned measuring cup. I don't use it really often, but it's cute. So down in here, I have a half a cup, I don't know if you can see that, a half a cup of white sugar, and I have 1/4 a cup of brown sugar, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and I think it was, let's see here, 1.5 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. All right. Let's get this going. Oh my goodness, this smells so good. Smells like fall. All right, this will get further mixed as it is combined here with the bread. So I'm gonna pour this over. And then the last thing I'm gonna do is chop my apples, and I gotta show you this. Look at this apple. This is the sweetest thing. So last week on family night, our little grandson Courage, he is 3, he's about to turn 4 in November, and he told his mommy that he wanted to bring something for Pops and Gigi, and he decided that it was this apple that he was gonna bring. So she said it's gotten pretty beat up because he was carrying it around and in preparation to come and bring it. And I thought, I don't know if I can This is so sweet. I wish I could keep this little apple forever, but I can't. But I will sure treasure that memory of him wanting to bring us something and decided on bringing us this apple. Is that so sweet? So I'm gonna include this one in this really yummy dessert. And then I'm adding 2 more apples with it for a total of 3 apples. I'm gonna peel them and chop them and get those in. Okay, let's get this all stirred up now that the apples are in. Oh my goodness, I have super high hopes for this, you guys. I think this is gonna be really good. Well, tell me in the comments down below how you guys are doing. I was just thinking while I was chopping up these apples, you know how it is. At least I'll just say it's how it is around here. I have all these high hopes for every season that we're in, but fall especially. There's just so many things I want to do and participate in and take the grandkids to, or just James and I maybe make a day trip here or there, or just all the things. I want to do all the fall things, and you all know as well as I do, there's not enough time for doing all the things. But you know what? You can still have that wonderful fall feeling by doing small things like making something fall inspired in the kitchen, buying some apple cider and drinking some apple cider, carve a pumpkin, you know, go to the orchard. There are all kinds of small things you can do. Probably can't hit everything on the whole bucket list, but today, just chopping and peeling these apples and knowing how delicious this is going to be, and it's kind of fall inspired. You could have this anytime, but it feels pretty fallish with the apples. Just something small like this can help you enjoy the season. Okay, chatty. Let's go ahead with, this is my sprayed baking dish here. And let's get all of this in. Oh my word, this is gonna be way too much for me and James, but we can have some for dinner tonight. We can have some to eat on for breakfast the next couple mornings, and I will probably share this as well. I can always find somebody to give something yummy to, whether it be my kids or my parents, my sweet husband's sweet parents. I can just share anytime. Okay, wow, this I'm thinking is gonna be great. The smell, you guys, and look at all these apples. You never know on a recipe like this if the ratios are, you know, how they're gonna be. You just never know when you're trying a new recipe, but this one is really looking promising, you guys. Now, what I haven't even talked about, it has a streusel topping. Oh my, that's gonna take it to another level, right? And I'm barely gonna fit it on here, it looks like, so. Okay, this point here is when you put on your foil and pop into your refrigerator. This can stay overnight. For me, it's gonna stay all day. I'm gonna bake this, and then at the last 5 minutes of bake time, you put on the streusel topping. So we are gonna get the streusel topping made here. I'm gonna show you that, but that's not gonna go on until this is almost done. So I'm gonna cover this and get this in the fridge. Okay, the recipe calls for 1.5 teaspoons of apple pie spice, and I don't have that. So I looked it up. It takes cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, and cardamom, but I don't have that. So I'm just gonna do these 3 together for like 1.5 teaspoon. I'm gonna go heavier, of course, on the cinnamon. So let's just start with that. And I'm gonna do just a little smidge of ginger. Might as well do this so I don't get too much in there. Ginger. And a little bit of the nutmeg. That is it. I don't know if you guys can see that. There we go. That's what we're gonna use for our apple pie spice. After your spices are all together, you just mix it with brown sugar and butter. You cut the butter in to make that streusel topping. Of course, this recipe will be down below. This was over the top delicious. I thoroughly enjoyed it. James enjoyed it. We shared it with our son and his wife and family. I shared it with someone else even, I think. Rave reviews. Everybody really liked it. My daughter-in-law Abigail said we already are requesting this. Again, this was so good. So highly recommend making this one. I just served it with some sausage and then poured some warm maple syrup over the top. And in my opinion, this could also be titled a lot of different things. It could be just a bread pudding as far as I'm concerned. A bread pudding with a streusel topping. It, of course, you know, if you're using a bread product, I guess the title of it could be whatever you want it to be. So it could be a breakfast or it could just be served as a dessert. The apples in there, oh, made just a great seasonal, delicious. For us, it was a breakfast bake, but I could easily say using this for dessert would be a home run as well. All right, for this meal, we had some smoked sausages that needed to be used. James had roasted some over the fire. He's been working a lot outside and getting our wood prepared for the winter. And so for the rest of the sausages, I just did a favorite around here, and that's smoked sausage with some fried cabbage. So you've seen me make that plenty of times. I still had a couple squash and zucchini left from the farm stand that I bought down the road, and I just decided to just do an old-fashioned fried squash and zucchini. And this was a quick and easy meal. I wanted some baked potatoes. I know that it's not what I would typically make with something like that, but I was hungry for a baked potato, and I made some cornbread. So this was just a quick supper for us, using up something that needed to be used up. And James is such a fan of fried squash and zucchini. That's always a treat for him. Here is my plate, all ready to go with some cucumber and some onion. I've been trying to use like one of those little mini cucumbers, the whole thing. When I get one out, I slice it up and eat it all. So this is one of our favorite dinners, or a dinner like this is definitely one of our favorites. All right, for this buffalo chicken dip, this is the warm one that's baked in the oven. I have a really good buffalo chicken ball, so it's kind of like a chicken dip too, but it's like a more of a chicken cheese ball type recipe. That one is really delicious too, but I'm making this one tonight, and I say here on this card, my recipe, I have tried a few and tinkered with it a little bit, and this is the one that I settled on, so this is the one I always make. Today I'm cutting it in half, and so into my bowl here, I have already softened my cream cheese and 2 tablespoons of butter, thereabouts, and then I'm gonna add in my ranch now. It calls for 1 packet. So I'll just do about 1.5 tablespoons of that. Here is the chicken that I'm using. James brought home barbecue he has a friend who has a barbecue restaurant, and he was in that town, so he picked up some barbecue. We have a little bit of the pulled pork left. There is a little bit of the ribs left, and there's a little bit of the smoked pulled chicken. So I'm gonna use this. It's gonna be the perfect amount for this buffalo chicken dip. So the original recipe calls for 2 cups. This is probably about 1 cup, I'd say. I'm just gonna kind of make sure that's a little bit, some of these pieces are a little bigger, so I'm gonna get them torn up a little bit smaller and get that mixed in. Okay, so for my half version, I need 1/4 cup of hot sauce, so the Frank's Red Hot or whatever you want to use. I'm using the Louisiana. That's what I usually have on hand all the time. So if I don't have Frank's, I will use the Louisiana, and it works just great. And then I need 1/4 cup of sour cream. All right, I've got my sour cream in. I'm going to give this a mix, put it into my greased baking dish, and then closer to the end, I'm going to add on about, a little less than a half a cup of shredded cheese on the top. That's what you want to put on the top of this. It comes out so cheesy and delicious. I'll show you that here in just a second. All right, here we go. It's looking good. And this portion is perfect for 2 people. You don't have to have so much to eat on, but if you're taking this to a party, you definitely want to make the full version, or if you're having people over, you got to make the whole thing. It'll go quick, but for just the 2 of us, cutting this one in half is perfect. So make sure you look below for the recipe. I will show this to you when it comes out, and I'll put the cheese on. Of course, I'm going to show it to you when we're all done. I am excited to have this tonight. And here it is out of the oven. Put the cheese on there. And since this is a half portion, I only bake this about 15 minutes or so. And I don't like to over bake anything with cheese on the top, so the cheese doesn't get really tough and I like it to be a little bit more, soft and gooey, so it doesn't all just pull off at one time. So yes, yum, yum. This is gonna be good. And we're gonna have this with our leftover pulled pork and pork ribs for just a quick and easy Friday night dinner. Next up, I am making these pizza burgers, or you could just call them, mini pizzas, whatever you want to call them. I am making these on hamburger buns. So you just want to open up your hamburger buns, get those all placed on your baking sheet. I just put mine on foil for ease of cleaning later in case any of the cheese baked off. On top of that, you're just going to use your favorite pizza sauce or pasta sauce, whatever you want to use, and then just put on whatever toppings you like, of course. I used just some Italian sausage that I had fried and drained earlier. I put my mozzarella cheese on top of that, topped it with pepperoni, and these bake for just a few minutes. So customizable. You can do them on like a hoagie roll and make like a French bread style pizza. You can do it on French bread. You can do it on bagels. You can do all kinds of things. And this is just kind of a fun, handheld, quick lunch or dinner that's always a crowd pleaser. Good morning, guys. I'm starting off with this 2 pounds of ground beef, and I am going to do those in my slow cooker. I'm going to be here all day. I have plenty of time. So instead of frying this up on the stovetop, I'm going to put this in my slow cooker and let it cook the ground beef. I'll just remove the grease. If there's much, this is very, very lean beef, so there's usually not a lot, but I'll just take a paper towel here, dab up the grease that comes off of this if necessary, and then I'll just continue on. So this is truly all done in the crock pot. Here it is. I'm dealing with some morning sunlight this morning, so that's what you're seeing. I used my little meat chopper, broke it down just a little bit, of course being gentle because I'm using a liner. I know some people don't like to, but I don't mind them at all. I find them pretty helpful. And so I used my little meat chopper, broke this down a little bit. I'm gonna put the lid on, and I'm not gonna do anything else to it right now. And once I start building my chili, of course, then I'll add in my seasoning. Of course, if you've been around, you know I don't follow a recipe for chili. I make chili based on how I am feeling like I want it, or maybe how James has expressed interest in it, or what I have. And so that's the great thing about chili. It's so versatile. So here's what I've pulled out of my pantry. I don't know if I'll use all of this or not. I'll for sure use the chili beans and the tomato paste. I'll probably use, I'd say maybe all of this, both of those little sauces. And then for additional tomato, I've got this diced tomato and green chili in the mild. And so that's what I've pulled out that I will most likely add into this, of course, along with some onion and seasonings. Here it is, all done, looking great. So I'm gonna start adding in after I get out a little bit of this liquid. You can see here I have some, and I've added nothing. So this is just what's cooked off of it. There's a lot of liquid there. It's not grease necessarily, although there's some in there, but just a lot of liquid that's cooked off of the meat. So I'm going to get some of that removed and then start adding in my other ingredients. All right, the seasonings I added in are salt, onion powder, added in some garlic, half of an onion. I don't know if I showed you that or not. Cumin, my husband really loves cumin, and chili powder. And we like a heavy chili powder taste in our chili, so I added quite a bit of that. So those are my seasonings this time around. Oh, beef broth. Did I say that? So beef broth as well, the dry beef base, I added a little bit of that in as well. And I just season with my heart. All right, boy, this is looking very orange on camera. Everything is in. I added 4 cups of water, and I'm gonna put the lid back on, and this will just go for the next many hours, just getting all delicious together. The men from the church had come over this evening. I made this for just like a men's campfire fellowship evening, and it was gobbled up and lots of great reviews on it. Everyone said it was really, really delicious. So of course I was glad that it was good and they enjoyed it. Well, that wraps it up, you guys. I hope you got some ideas and inspiration from this video. I am so glad you came by and spent a little time with me here in my kitchen. I hope that maybe you give some of these recipes a try, especially that apple breakfast bake with the streusel topping. You won't regret it. So, so good. If you did enjoy it, let's give this a big thumbs up. Just hit that thumbs up button. And if you haven't yet subscribed, I would love for you to subscribe. I would love for us to get to 13,000 really, really soon. That would be awesome. And for those of you that are subscribed, you are the reason we're chugging along over here. And I super thank you for it. All right, I'll see you next week. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise.